bum 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 bong bong boy who harnessed the wind. VS movie. The boy who harnessed the wind. Oh yeah, so let's get started. About the boy who harnessed the wind, there are great things that happen, and let's talk about the similarities first. Firstly, the similarities are they both have William Kamkwamba in there. They also have a few of the characters, like his dad, his mother, and his sister Annie. His friend, who's the friend of the chief, and his other friend. Actually, no other friend. They weren't there. Also, the dog, their hunting dog. And the teacher, the principal, the librarians, and the other actors, and the other students, the science teacher, and obviously the librarian, because, yeah, she was a little important role in here. Actually, that's about it. So it turns out there are ways to do and intertwine these things together. So those are the characters that are involved in here. Also, they also created the windmill at the almost at the edge of the book. Well, in the movie, they created at the very end. They showed how they created at the very end of the movie, but in the book, it was like 3/4 away, and then they told about the problems of the windmill had created, and how William Kamkwamba did on a TED Talk. And speaking of TED Talks, you can actually search it online at TEDTalk.com and at TEDTalk.com. Speaking of TED Talks, William Kamkwamba and both of them mentioned the TED Talk, and these were his famous words.
After I dropped from school, I went to library and I read a book titled Using Energy, and I get following it, and I tried it.
Whoops. Well, he read a book called Using Energy, and eventually he got information about a windmill, and he did this. And he said this, I tried it and I made it. And that was his most famous words. And there actually is a TED Talk of William Kamkwamba. You can search it online on YouTube or the TED Talk website itself. But it turns out there are ways that maybe there are differences. I mean, they both got the irrigation system into the plan and how they stopped the famine, but there was also another famine that the movie didn't say. The 2005 and the 2006 famine. Some say it was because of the windmill, and because they said, the windmill is magic, and it's dark magic, yes, evil, and they almost tore it down, but William Kamkwamba saved it. He also created new windmills, and was mentioned in the book. But in the movie, there was one thing that it didn't mention, so that's, I think, is the most funniest in the book. It's called, when William Kamkwamba first saw Google, he was like, when was this Google when I needed it? Now that's really funny when you think about it, but yeah, there are just some ways that maybe it isn't. But it turns out it sort of is funny because of it. Also, there are a few characters in the book that was cut out from the movie, and also the end of the book, except the TED Talk. Except the TED Talk was cut out. So I think you better read the book if you want the whole story, and if you want like the part of the windmill and how he started creating a windmill and how William Kamkwamba did everything. Well, I recommend the movie then, but I guess I recommend reading the book first before watching the movie. After reading the book, you get the whole complete picture, and once you watch the movie, you will eventually get the whole small picture. So hope you guys had something to learn here. I mean, there are a lot of differences, like cuts and cuts. Like in the book, there are cousins that weren't introduced here and who helped, and also this sort of a thing. And this is his breaker box, where basically if the windmill breaks, if there's a blackout and it's about to go on fire, then it will break the breaker box, will keep the wire and will cut the circuit, and won't let the fire come to life on top of the house. Yeah, that's a very smart invention, by the way. Not invention, but he created it. He gave people secondary school when he created this, so and eventually he just had enough to finish his education and go out to college. He finished his educational degree, his educational environment degree. and got everything he could. Eventually, in 2005 or 2006, when he was like 19 years old, he was able to create. Did this TED Talk, which became a little famous all around the world. Not a lot of people know about William Crumber now, but he's still alive, and you can literally visit him anytime. A few fans actually did that, but he ignores them. So, yeah, I guess this is about it. All over the world, he is known as the boy who harnessed the wind. I highly recommend also watch the TED Talk because it is awesome. Just not a clip from the movie. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I just say why I recommend these both is because of how it sort of told about a tale and how he used garbage to create a windmill, especially a car battery that's dead, but he was able. Now that's a smart invention. And also the plus side is they don't need to pay any money to the government. Yippee! So this is the end of this episode. If you did enjoy this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next episode. Snug out and peace. TP/TP Shorthand to X0, X5, X500, XY, XZ 500.